Hi, welcome to Watcher DM. I'm Gabriel. Today I'm continuing my series on the Cairn Warden's Guide Second Edition. Last time we got started with the region, our first region, and its people, who we determined are wealthy and want more wealth, and who have an abundance of livestock but a scarcity of herbs. So that's what the tables have given us. Let's get into some factions. Let's do a little faction generation here. So, a region is typically dominated by one or more factions, each with their own unique advantages, agendas, and obstacles. Each faction should also have one or more representatives or agents tasked with helping complete their agenda. Smaller regions with fewer POIs should have 1 to 2 factions, while larger regions should have as many as 5 to 6 factions. Agents are often in charge of completing one or more of the goals of the agenda of a faction. Particularly large factions may have additional agents, each in charge of a distinct goal. Agents may have personal motivations that differ from the faction's main agenda, a fact that canny PCs can exploit for their own gain. Advantages. Factions possess advantages that assist them in accomplishing their agenda. Advantages reflect a faction's influence, materials, wealth, and other unique features. Factions leverage their advantages as much as possible when trying to achieve their goals and at the same time continually work to acquire more advantages. And you've got agendas. Factions will work to complete their agendas independently, enlisting the help of PCs only when that would strengthen their agenda. Agendas are defined by a series of 3 to 5 goals that build towards a clear objective. Goals are progressive, building on the previous successes or failures of early goals. Goals should focus on acquiring a distinct advantage in order to proceed to the next goal. At least one goal should deal with the faction's primary obstacle. This may be the first goal or the last. All agendas have at least one obstacle that stands in the way of their completion. Additional obstacles can arise through faction actions, see page 13, or through the developments in the fiction. Completing a faction's agenda should be a significant event, potentially changing the political or natural landscape of a region. A region map should continually reflect the impact of factions as they work on completing their agendas and acquiring more advantages. Okay, so we're going to go with 2 different factions here. I think that's, and we've got, our people is sorted out, so we're going to start a new faction header. And we'll start with faction 1. Just going to put the placeholders here. Oops. Alright, the faction type and agent. And then we'll roll some traits here. D20 for each column and combine. Okay, so each column and combine. Okay. Let's see, it's 9 and 18. Geez, those really went out of the way, huh? Let me change this so that we can... Dice. Yes. Yeah, that makes it better. Oop, 9 and 18. You saw it. It was already there. 9. 18 is going to be military. 18. A military spy. That's the faction. It says faction type. I guess it's a military faction with a spy agent. That makes a ton of sense. And then the faction traits are 716. Let's put that here. 716. So, enigmatic, ruthless. An enigmatic, ruthless military faction with a spy agent. I like that. That's really good. We roll a d20 to determine the number of advantages the faction has, then roll a d20 again for each of the corresponding advantages. So we'll get rid of that. Roll the 6. They have 1 advantage, which we will mark here as advantage. And we'll roll again. We got 8. force. Obviously, right? They have a military. They're a military force. And then their agenda, which, you know, I think maybe I can do advantages like this. And agenda. Let's roll twice here. Boom. 1 and 18 and 1. Revive a former power, a geographic barrier, or impassable terrain is their obstacle. So, revive a former power, obstacle, geographic barrier, or impassable terrain. Okay. All right. So we have, let's see here. By default, factions independently of the player character's actions, faction rules. Okay, so these are just faction rules, which we're not going to worry about just yet. And we're also not going to name it just yet, because we haven't gotten to the naming procedures yet. So we just got our little faction 1, and then we're going to go ahead and generate faction 2. So we have our anti-faction. We have our secondary faction. In this case, I'm going to roll it in a different order. I'm actually not sure why it's in the order that it's in. It's not that big of a deal, but let's see. So 10-7, I'm going to treat that as faction traits. 10-7. And then for faction type, we got 12-1. So 10 intellectual, 7 cruel, 12 is pilgrims, with a 1 academic agent. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm not actually sure what that means. What are pilgrims? What are intellectual, cruel pilgrims? I don't even know what I'll be honest, I don't know what a pilgrim is. Like, I know what a pilgrim is in the historical, like, you know, I went to school in the U.S., so I know, like, I don't know. I know what the cartoon of a pilgrim is. But I don't know what the job of a pilgrim is. I don't know what the full context there is. Figure it out. Let's clear this. And roll the d20 to get our total advantages. We're on the 18. They have 4 advantages. Holy smokes. All right. Well, we're going to make it a list then. We're going to clear this. And we're going to roll 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Let's get them. Snap. Awesome. Advantage 4. Oh, sorry. I guess that's 9, 4, 5, and 20. They have information. They have beliefs. Man, this really paints a picture, you know? They have charisma. Oh. And 20. They've got the wealth. Man, this really does paint a picture. It's pretty crazy how much you get out of this. What is their agenda? This should be 3. All right. Let's check out their agenda. So we roll a d20 for each column and combine. Boom, boom. We got a 13 and a 9. So their agenda is 13, which I forgot to write down up here. This is an 18. And the obstacle was a 1. Sorry. Sorry about that. All right. 13 agenda is preserve the status quo. Love it. That's very wealthy bitch behavior, if I'm being totally honest. Obstacle for it is going to be 9. Ooh. Ah, yes. An internal schism threatens to tear the faction apart. Man. This is punchy stuff. This is really punches way above its weight class in terms of the cost of words. That's really good. So, then there are roles that you can make for achieving certain goals. I think within the context of this, probably the next step. Well, first I got to look up what is a pilgrim. We can look up what a pilgrim is. Pilgrim undertakes a long journey to a holy site, shrine, or foreign land for spiritual or moral purposes. Interesting. So does that mean that this faction is like tourists? They like come to this place for like a holy site? How interesting. What an interesting result. I feel like I desperately want to roll some names for these guys, but let's hold off. Let's get this. We'll do this thing in order. The next video will be all about topography. We'll be generating our topography. This will be the really interesting one because we're going to use it like a drop table with fancy bits, and we're gonna play with that. It's gonna be pretty wild. So stay tuned. Come check me out next week, next Sunday. If you like these videos, I hope you'll hit the like button. If you want to see more of them, you should definitely subscribe. If you want to be notified when they come out, hit the bell icon. Whatever, hyping stuff. I don't know, man. I don't even know if that stuff works. But I'm glad you're here. And if you want to be around to hear more, do the thing, I guess. If you want to get early access to these videos, you can do so over on my Patreon, patreon.com/watcherdm, where I also drop daily drawing practice and writing practice examples, as well as, all the stuff that I'm working on, whatever I'm working on. And I've been recording voice notes lately and just kind of like talking like this to y'all. So if you like the sound of my voice, or you just want to hear me blather on about nerd shit, do that. It's cool. That's what I got for you today. Thanks for hanging out. See you soon.